Hello, Scott Seeley from Outdoor Ukulele and Guitar. Come on in the shop and I'll give you a little tour. Primary goal of the company was to make an instrument in the US, since most of them are made overseas. So everything is made here. All the injection molding is done up in Everett, Washington. In fact, we machine these on the East Coast, all the strap buttons. The strings are made in New York City. The only thing that we have to purchase overseas is the tuning machines, but we're currently working on something here for that. This project was started about 7 years ago. First 2 years was figuring out how to make the instruments, developing the material, finding a manufacturing process, which is injection molding, finding an injection molder. So that took about 2 years, and then we just kind of went through this process of starting with your standard ukulele, which is the soprano, and then in progressive years we would add new sizes and different instruments. Soprano was kind of, because that's the most widely known size, and because it's small, it's much easier to develop the materials for that, the molds for that, before we go up to bigger sizes. The difficulty in making these instruments is, number one, we use a very high-end material, polycarbonate. Then we throw in glass fibers or carbon fiber, reinforced materials. Then we have to then work with a chemist and figure out how do we flow these materials in long lengths. Like in this case, from here all the way out. It's a very thin walled material or mold, so it's very difficult to get those materials into here. In this case, these are all made on a 440-ton injection molding machine up in Everett. We designed this company differently. So everything's made in the US. We only have 2 employees. It's myself and one other who does most of the assembly. And we designed it that way, so we only make 16 a day, and that's all. That's the way we designed it. And we do have many requests for larger orders, especially the countries that we sell mostly to. So Japan, China, oddly enough, is one of our largest dealers, many in Europe. In fact, this is going to Taiwan. There's another order here going to Germany. But we often have to tell the dealers, no, we can't supply this month because we're focused on building instruments for direct orders. So on our website, right now it says at the top, production time is 3 business days. So if it does get busy for us, we change that to 5. Sometimes at Christmas we'll change it to 10. Sometimes we'll even say, sorry, you're not getting it for Christmas. That's how we typically will adjust our production schedule. And so that's kind of my job, is to make sure that we're only producing, let's say 14, 16 a day type of thing. COVID for us was interesting because our sales doubled almost overnight. Everyone went home, wanted to learn to play an instrument, and that's where we struggled. Luckily though, during the wintertime, we were producing some stock instruments, so we were able to ship those, but those were gone within 2 weeks. So we just tried to keep up. We worked extra hours. Of course, we're locked up in here making instruments. And then the supply chain issues started to come in, resin supply. Many of our suppliers actually just shut down. So we just kept going through all of our inventory and making as many instruments as possible. That summer we made the decision to double up on everything. We doubled the amount of strings, tuners, everything, all the parts, just so we could keep up. But luckily things reopened and we were able to get that supply issue rolling again. So we use the lean manufacturing process here. It's a 3-day process, and there's 3 stations. The first station does the cleaning, trimming, stickers, and then we have a second day, which is actually the gluing and clamping, and then they go up for curing. And then the third station is actually going to be where we put the tuning machines on, the strings, and prep them so that they go through a string stretching process. And then the last day will actually be the shipping of the customer's order. So I'll take you over to the first station. So this is our tenor ukulele in moonshine. So this is actually a glass fiber polycarbonate. So here we'll do things like cleaning the inside out. There might be some release material from the molding. So then we're going to trim the part. So we go along all the edges and trim off any flashing left over from the molding. Then we're going to actually put the decals in. So like one will go inside here. And also things like strap buttons will be added at this point, where we'll drill and add them to the ends. So that, and things like pickups as well, we'll add in this department. So that would be ready to go. And then this typically would then go on the shelf for day 2. We do 16 instruments a day, and that's it. 16 every day go through this process, 16 every day through the second and the third. This would go over here now to be ready for the second one. Here I'll show you, this is our banjo. So this is carbon fiber polycarbonate. So the things that we do over here to this are, we will add inserts. So there's 18 inserts that go around here and in the neck. And I'll show you real quickly what that looks like. So that takes a polycarbonate part and puts in some brass inserts so the screws can be added easily. And then when that's done, actually here, we will then put the banjo head on. And we have stainless steel screws that go around. These are adjusted by using some spacers that actually go in here. So that's how we get the proper tension on the neck, on the head. I'll also show you, so here's the same tenor. So here's where we would also prime the edges. So we would take a little Q-tip, add some primer. We go around the edges. So what we're doing is we're prepping these edges because this material is a low energy material, so it's hard for adhesive to stick to it. So we'll do that. We'll heat the edges with the heat gun, and that kind of opens the pores up. So then we'd add adhesive up to the glue joint, place these parts together, and then we will place them in these huge fixtures. So this is a machined aluminum fixture. So the idea is to make this as flat as possible. So we actually will use rubber bands. These rubber bands will go around like this. And then that's how they get clamped in place. Then they go up to these fans and they cure overnight. So that's how that works. So over here is our guitar. And so this one's interesting. It's a 2-piece design. So you can kind of see a joint here. So it's actually a neck that gets bolted onto the body. And I'll show you, here's where we're actually going to put tuning machines on. So we're going to bolt these in place and then we string it up here. So I'll go ahead and show you what that process looks like. Little figure-8 knot on the end. That's it. That's how we string the guitar. And of course we try to automate everything. So after we do the tuning machines and stringing, we'll let them settle overnight. And then they come over here to the shipping department. So first thing we'll do is go through and make sure they're tuned again. And that helps with the stretching. It could take about a week for these strings to stretch. It's nice for the customer to get them stretched maybe half of the way. So within we'll add a chord sheet. And then we have a box which has been illustrated by a local artist. You can see it there. And we'll box this in here. And that's it. That's going to Taiwan.